I didn't sleep last night. Okay, first, it was hard to fall asleep because I was so excited with myself. So I only fell asleep around, I think maybe 11. And then there was this lightning storm around 2 o'clock. And then one of the house alarms went off. But when the house alarm went off, I thought it was the car alarm. So out I ran in my boxes and yeah, thinking I don't know what I'm gonna do if somebody is breaking into somebody's car, one of the cars outside. But out I ran and realized it was just one of the house alarms. But then when I came back, I couldn't fall asleep again for a very long time. And when I finally did, my phone rang. So yeah, it's like it's finally coming together. So I've worked hard for this and gone through a lot. So today's a day where I finally physically really start my journey into a male body. Okay, so we're currently in the traffic. The appointment's for 9 o'clock. It's 10 to 8 right now. We left early to make sure we don't get caught in traffic. And because at this point, my mom knows that I'm transitioning. I haven't told my father. My mom said she'd tell him, but she hasn't actually gotten around to it, I guess. I think she's not ready to actually say it with her own mouth, those words. So it was because she wouldn't let me leave like every 10 minutes, like no, stay for this or that. And you could see that it was for her. She knew that it was the last time, I think, in her head that she would see me as her little girl. And I want to go home in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month. I could be a totally different person that comes home on that day. And for me also, it was also driving when I left. It was driving away from a lot of emotional things that I found negative at home and driving towards a whole lot of new things that I would be making for myself. A new life, a new person, a new Craig. I'm not scared of telling my father. I just feel like my mother is very, I don't know how to put it, like it's almost like, let me put it this way, I'm almost waiting for my mother to be comfortable with it to tell my father, because the relationship is like that. If something is going on with one of us, my father asks her, and if she's not at a point where she can speak her mind, or if she's going to say, I don't know, I don't think it's going to play off very well. Learning from the experience of living in my house for so many years, I know how things go, Okay, so the reason why I thought it was a bad idea for me to stay in Soweto while I was transitioning, I have a few. First of all, I really thought that it would have been extra strain on my family to have my neighbors, popping their heads over the wall in a few months, like, something's really wrong with your daughter, and, to have people, like, yeah, I know people will notice and all of that, but I mean, for it to be in my family's face like that when they have to deal with it themselves, I thought really wouldn't have worked for me or my family. I'm trying to be as sensitive to them as possible. Also, we all know about violence and hate crimes in this country, and especially towards people that seem homosexual or, gender variant, butch lesbians, feminine men, that sort of thing. So I didn't, if the wrong guy notices that I'm not as female-bodied as I used to be, the ignorance and, that sort of thing, could cause, a lot of things, like, oh, so you want to be a man now, I'll show you, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a good experience to go through, and it's not something that I'd like to provoke. Not that victims ever, that sort of situation, but trying to be as safe for myself as possible. I don't think I should have stayed in the hood for that. And to be honest, I also needed to find like a quiet space where I could be left alone as much as possible, because we are very friendly in Soweto, and people just pop in and out, and whereas here it's me in my little space. All my life there's been questions around me, and it's not like it's something new that my family's been dealing with. So it's not like she hasn't had to deal with the questions before. I just think hopefully by that time they would have dealt with it enough themselves to explain the situation if they feel they want to, or be able to say, no, look, it's a personal thing, so can you, like without it being too much of an issue for them to say to somebody else. BMW drivers. Having a little sister that looks like me is not the easiest thing, but at the same time it is. My one brother was saying, as much as he may have to stand up for me sometimes and that sort of thing, he much rather me this way than having a feminine sister who he's going to have to fight boyfriends off every single day and that sort of thing. So we cool. And as far as them taking that transition on, I'm also like worried about them, because my one brother, the one who was born immediately before me, I told him once and he was okay, it's fine, whatever makes you happy. We never spoke about it since then. And he's a very nice guy, and he's not, he's still using the female pronouns, but I know that's going to take a while, especially for somebody, like he's been calling me female pronouns for 23, 24 years now. So it's quite a situation, but he means well, and you can see it. And he's always been very, because he was born right before me, like we've shared most of our lives together. Like whenever we went out or that sort of thing, like we've always been together. Always seemed to deal with me on the same level, instead of always having to shout or whatever, have a situation. The rest will help me, but first they're gonna sort me out. My other brother, he was very honest with me. He's having a bit of a hard time with it. Not that he doesn't support me, but he's having a hard time. He says he's very worried about how I'm going to handle being a black man in this, in this country with everything that's going on. Just the simple things like, how apparently, I'm not going to say, apparently, black men apparently have to deal with the police more than other guys have to. And, the whole thing, jobs, with relationships, that sort of thing. Am I going to be able to? And, he's worried about that. He's worried about it medically. And he just wants to know if I'm really sure. And, when we had that conversation, him and I are very matter of fact with each other. Like he's a strong guy. He's very upstanding. He's very opinionated. Like he says things, but sometimes it doesn't come from the most sensitive place. So when we had that conversation, I really didn't like how it came off. And to be honest, I was very hurt with how it came out and the things he was saying, because it kind of sounded like he didn't believe in me at all. As in, I couldn't do this.
But what was he saying?
Those things that he was saying, he's just like, I don't think that you are strong enough to be a black man in South African society. I don't think you can stand up for yourself. And for me, in the back of my head, I was thinking, it was one of those things where, where you have this older sibling, and if somebody just touches you the wrong way, he's already on the warpath. He's never actually had to see me stand up for myself in the first place. So he doesn't know how I am completely, because he's always been so defensive of me. And that sort of thing, like it just really made it sound like he didn't believe in me at all. I think, to be honest with you, I think a lot of my friends haven't actually grasped the situation at all. I think it hasn't actually dawned upon them as to what is happening with me. It just seems very like, to them it seems like I'm still the same old Yoli in their heads, still dressing me as a female person, but then I have my closer friends. Yeah, you can see that they ask questions. Like I'm very open about my change, hence documentation. But you find that they'll ask questions, all sorts of, and I'm trying my hardest to be as open about things as possible, so as to encourage more questions, because where there's questions, there's understanding, and where there's understanding, there'll be more acceptance of the situation. So I don't want to miss my appointment. I don't know how she is about people popping in late, and quite frankly, I don't want to arrive late. I want everything to go smoothly, because this is it's like a whole new birthday to me. It's a tea day. A lot of medical aids really still regard transitioning as being a cosmetic procedure, so we're doing it to look nice. Never mind the fact that we actually have a medical mental condition, which is very upsetting. And so that financially, yeah, it's, obviously I'm not the richest of guys and that sort of thing, but I'm at a point where I'm willing to shift my life around so that it works out, because I know that in the long run, it's the one thing that's going to make me happiest, rather than all that holidaying and other things that I could be spending my money on. So excited, I missed my corner. Damn it. Ugh. Dude, come on. I don't understand South African produced drinks, I don't.